Hey guys, welcome. Our next miracle that Jesus performed that we're going to cover is in Mark chapter 8. It's only covered by Mark, and this we're going to find out is in Bethsaida. We spend a lot of time in Bethsaida in the scriptures. Some of the apostles are from here, happened in place. It's also different than the Pool of Bethesda location, which is by Jerusalem. So different places. When I started researching it, I was getting those confused. So they are different places. So you don't have to be confused like me. But again, we're learning. That's why we're doing these videos, right? Anyway, so we're starting in verse 22, Mark 8. And Jesus cometh to Bethsaida, and I'm probably saying that wrong anyway. Probably saying it both wrong. And they bring a blind man unto him. So we look at the differences in the miracles. Some people reach out to Jesus. Some people Jesus notices. Other people bring their friend or whoever to Jesus to be healed. So people bring this blind person to Jesus to be healed, and they besought him, Jesus, to touch him, the blind person. That's how I read it. I guess it could be the other way around. But either way, that physical touch from Jesus, they know will heal that person. That's where the faith is. They know it. So they bring the blind person to Jesus to be healed. Jesus took the blind man by the hand. So took his hand to lead him and led him out of the town. I think that is so interesting. So many times and so many miracles happen when Jesus is in a crowded group or in someone's home. It seems like most of these, especially since the beginning, those first couple, so many happen with so many people around. There's masses around, and now Jesus leads this person out of town. I have no idea why Jesus led that person out of town. Maybe it's symbolic of leaving a former life behind. It's not just a physical healing, it's a spiritual healing. So we're leaving that part of our life behind and we're going to somewhere better. Maybe it's symbolic of leaving where we're at to go to another location so that we can see better. I know Jesus has gone to mountaintops several times. Prophets have gone to mountaintops. They leave where they're at and they go somewhere to see better. So I don't know if this is symbolic of that. Very well could be. I don't know. Maybe the people in town were lacking faith. Maybe there was some bad people there they were getting away from. I have no idea. Maybe just wanted it to be like an intimate experience between himself and this person who he's about to heal. Whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we can always draw so many conclusions. You could draw conclusions about what Jesus meant when he did different things endlessly. Like you can look at different situations so much, and this one, I don't know. He let him out of town. Maybe there was a nice patch of grass out there and he wanted to sit down. I don't know. There's so many things. I kind of like, for me, spiritually, when I read this time when I read this, I feel like it's like a change in our life. Like we can relocate ourselves to a different place, a better place, and see better. Like go on, I think of the Transfiguration, and going to the mountains and leaving behind, and it might not even be the location. It might just be leaving behind the world. It might be finding a place where you can be alone. Probably not a lot of people on top of mountains, so it's a good place to go hang out. But I kind of like the symbolism between leaving where you were to a new place. It's pretty cool. So Jesus leads this person out of town, and Jesus put his hands upon him. And now the last miracles we've read about Jesus touching people different ways or making spit with mud and like different things. So it doesn't really say, but he put his hands upon him and he asked him if he saw aught. So he put his hands on him. I'm not sure how. Seems like from other miracles, it would probably be on his eyes or something. But you know what? It doesn't have to be. Could just be still holding his hand. I don't know. And he looked up and said, I see men, I see men as trees walking. It's kind of funny, which kind of makes me think that maybe this person wasn't blind since birth. We do have reference of people being having some kind of ailment or blind since birth. It doesn't say this person was blind since birth, but it does say he can see people. I see men as trees walking. So it's not full clarity, but it sounds like he was recognizing things. He's like, oh, that's a tree, that's a person. And if he was blind from birth, that might take a second to like, probably lots of seconds to figure out. But this person was able to do it quick. So it seems like he might not have been blind forever. But the people looked like trees. And I think that's fascinating because you can stop right there and you're like, come on, Jesus, heal him. Like you only healed him halfway. He's only partially seeing. He's seeing people as trees, not as people. And it's easy to think like you didn't finish. You only healed him halfway. And there are some miracles in the scriptures where they happen in stages. I think this is the only one that really a miracle happens in stages. We've talked about how the miracles, when Jesus says to be healed, it's immediate. They are healed immediately. And this person is healed fairly immediate, but it is a little different. It happens in stages, which I really appreciate. I like the stage healing more because I think for those of us who aren't sitting physically with Jesus holding our hand, the healing comes in stages. So I like that. He sees people, they look like trees walking around. And after that, he put his hands again upon his eyes. So it sounds like the first time and second time, he put his hands on his eyes. So Jesus is putting his hands on his eyes a second time, and made him look up. And he was restored and saw every man clearly. I love that he touched him again, and then he saw everyone clearly. The first time they looked like trees. It sounds like Jesus did the exact same thing twice. The second time he was healed. Why was this done in stages? Again, I have no idea. And when I read a story like this in my life in July 2025, I'll be like, this is what I think it means. This is what it means in my life. And when I read it in, I don't know, February 2026, I'll be like, oh, this means something different. And depending where I'm at and what I need in life, the scriptures speak very differently, and the Bible stories mean different things at different times. So who knows? But right now, him being healed in stages, I love because I feel like that's how we are all healed. It usually doesn't just happen like that. Our healing comes in stages, especially our spiritual blindness that's healed. Our physical healing often takes time for our bodies to heal. And I love that it was in stages. Although it's the only one, and it's not immediate like the first time, but I mean, what are we, like 45 seconds later? we're pretty quick. So the second time he could see clearly. I don't know if that is an issue with his faith. We've seen that people are healed immediately with their faith, and maybe his faith was lacking. Maybe he needed those stages. Maybe that was the development of his faith, that he had to go from blindness to seeing people that look like trees to seeing full clarity and maybe that was a process, and maybe his faith helped him to like get to each step. Like his faith was sufficient enough to get to that next level, and once it was there, he had the faith to hop up to the next part. Again, I have no idea. But I think it's beautiful to see the stages of this person and his healing. And he saw clearly, he saw every man clearly. But I love that it says clearly, the clarity in which he saw people was restored by Jesus. And I'm guessing it was even better than he could see before, because I think he saw it before. I don't know if other people think that or how it really happened, but that's just me. That's just what I think. And Jesus sent him away to his house, saying, "Neither go into the town nor tell it to anyone in the town." So he's like, just go home. Don't tell anyone in town. And they're just avoiding town. Maybe they were out to kill Jesus at that time. Maybe people were lying in wait to take him, or waiting for a miracle, or waiting for something like this to happen, some threat. I don't know. So in the end, I'm speculating on everything because I don't know everything at all of why Jesus does different things. But I love learning, and again, every miracle, something happens in a different way, and it's the same here. Happening in stages. He's healed some, and then he's healed the rest of the way. He can see a little, and then he can see more. And I think that is how it works for all of us. I think that's how it works for us in our lives, that we follow Jesus. He takes us by the hand, and we follow him, and we let him lead us. I like that it used the word lead, or led. I think it said led, but lead, we let Jesus lead us. And when he touches us and he touches our lives, we start seeing. And I think that Jesus can make people see clearly immediately. And I think that for most of us, it happens in stages. Hopefully every day. Hopefully every day is a new stage for us, and we see Jesus in new stages. And if you're watching this, hopefully this is a stage to help Jesus see Jesus more clearly. And it is for me, seeing how he acts in people's lives. But I love that this was a multi-part, being led away from the environment he was in, being touched and seeing, being touched again, and seeing even better, seeing more clarity. I love seeing the stages. I love also, we'll understand here, that his people, his friends, I'm guessing his friends, brought him to Jesus. And I love that. I love that they did that missionary work. They're bringing people to Jesus to be healed. I think that there's a whole world full of people that could be brought to Jesus to be healed. And that's what Jesus does. He heals people. And whatever you have in your life going on, Jesus can help heal that. I hope when you reach out to Jesus and follow him, that I hope you're healed immediately. And if it's not immediate, I hope those stages happen very quickly for you, and you can also see him clearly. Thanks.